eclipse, some halachot. First of all, there's no bracha for seeing the solar eclipse. And although we do find brachot in other places, like for instance on the keshet, on the rainbow, so it's a little hard to say that the reason is because the chama, when you have an eclipse, it's a bad sign. The Gemara says on Sukkah Kaftet, it's a bad sign. So maybe you don't say bracha because it's a bad sign. But you see, on the rainbow, you do say bracha. The Chazon Ish says that that's the reason you don't say bracha, because it's a bad sign. But you have a little bit of a question from the rainbow. Maybe you could say that since it doesn't come for a very long time, so something that's not so common, you don't say bracha. On Birkat HaChama, you see that it comes every 28 years, you do say bracha. Maybe the reason is that really, in reality, nothing is changed in the sky. You have the same sun, you have the same moon, it just covers the sun. Maybe that's the reason. But anyway, whatever it is, Chazon Ish held that the reason you don't say bracha is because it's a bad sign, like the Gemara says in Sukkah. Now, secondly, you don't say bracha also, say maaseh bereshit. Although in the Shulchan Aruch, in Siman Resh Chaf Chet, it says that you do say that bracha on all kind of different things, al yamim, uneharot, harim, ugvaot, umidbarot, omer, oseh maaseh bereshit. You see a beautiful scene that Hashem created. You see a certain scenery that Hashem created that's very big and impressing. There's a bracha, oseh maaseh bereshit. But that is different, and over here you wouldn't say, because over there it's the Itpalut HaNefesh. You see something, all of the sudden, something very, very beautiful that Hashem created, very big, very impressive. So you do say bracha, but over here it's the same sun, like we said, it's the same moon, just in the different position. So therefore, not necessarily that Chazal should be metaken a bracha on such a thing. Should a person look at the sun? Obviously we're talking about looking with the special glasses that they sell, not even sunglasses, because the sun could damage somebody's eye. So therefore, is it okay once you put those glasses, those special glasses, to look at the sun? Or maybe we don't look at the sun. We found, for instance, on a rainbow, it says in the halacha that one shouldn't look at the rainbow for too long. In Siman Resh Kaftet, the Mishnah Berurah brings down that one amistakel bo beyotav beyoter einav keot. One that looks at the rainbow for a long time lose eyesight. So therefore, maybe it should be the same thing by the sun. We see also by the moon, we're saying the same idea. When you say Birkat HaLevana, don't look for too long. It's brought down at the Mishnah Berurah over there as well, that one should not look for too long, rather just tole einav v'mvarech. Siman taf kaf vav. He brings this down in the Mishnah Berurah. בשם השלה החמיר עוד יותר, אפילו בשעת ברכה אין לו להסתכל על רואה אותה פעם אחת, you just take a look very quickly, and that's it. As the Rosh explains, the Rosh says that although you have to look at the moon, at the rainbow, at the moon, whatever it is, when you look at the moon, you have to look at the moon in order to say the bracha. But there's a difference between mistakel vero'eh. Mistakel means that you stare at something, that's davar asur. That's the same thing with looking at somebody who's a rasha. Mistakel b'pnei rasha, you're not allowed to stare at him. You're not allowed to stare at a woman. That's the same halacha. But to look without staring, that is mutar over here and needed in order to say the bracha on the moon. Same thing by the keshet. When you take a look at the keshet, you don't stare at it, just you look at it. Why is it that by chama, by the shemesh, you're allowed to look? Would be very big difference between the two. By the keshet, it says that one shouldn't look because the keshet itself has in it the Shechina. It says in the Zohar that a mistakel b'keshet kemistakel b'Shechina. So could be that is the reason why wouldn't say one wouldn't look on the keshet, on the rainbow, for too long. Also, secondly, it says in Tikunei Zohar that in the keshet you have all kind of mazikim, so therefore you don't look at such a thing. But on the sun, it doesn't say such a thing. On the Levana, it says again that one shouldn't look for too long. Reason brought down in the Mefarshim is either because the Shechina, the light of the Shechina is there, so therefore, a person that looks at the moon is like looking at the light of the Shechina. That's not something you should do. Secondly, because the moon has a pgam. It's missing. It's not full. And you shouldn't look at the moon when it has a pgam, not to embarrass it, like we found in other places, that you shouldn't embarrass different things, like the challah on Shabbat, when you make the kiddush on the wine, and so on and so forth. By the chama, it doesn't say that, and therefore one is allowed to look at the chama. We found such an idea by a rainbow, that it says in the halacha that one should not inform his friend that there is a rainbow outside. The Mishnah Berurah brings from the Chayei Adam right away in the beginning of Resh Kaftet, En kedai להגיד לחברו שיש קשת, משום מוציא דיבה. Since a rainbow is a bad sign, it's a sign that Hashem is angry and He keeps His brit, His covenant with the world, that if He's angry, He's not going to bring another Mabul like He did in Noach. Rather, He puts up a rainbow. So therefore, since it's a bad sign, don't tell your friend, oh, there's a beautiful rainbow outside, go and see. That's what it's brought down in the halacha. What about the chama? The chama is also a bad sign. So how should you, the likui chama, the solar eclipse is also a bad sign. So how could we tell one the other, there's a solar eclipse coming up on Monday, such an unbelievable phenomenon? How could you say that to your friend? So that, since that also is a bad sign, as the Gemara says, but could be two chilukim. One chiluk is that a rainbow is something that he didn't know. Over here, something that's very, very known already. Everybody knows about it. So you're not saying to anybody any chidush. When something is very known, you're allowed to say it over. Just like we found in Lashon Hara, that something that's known, ba'apet lata, it's already famous, and everybody know about it, so you can tell others. Also, secondly, not necessarily that this is a bad sign, because the Gemara brings two opinions in Sukkah Kaftet. One opinion that it is a bad sign to Am Yisrael. Second opinion that it's a bad sign to of the Kochavim. And could be that the chiluk is kan she'osim retzono shel makom, kan she'en osim retzono shel makom. And if that is the chiluk, so not necessarily that is a bad sign to Am Yisrael, and therefore one is allowed to tell the other